Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Pyromancer here, and I hope you're all having a great day. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming. Today I want to talk to you guys about something huge, and I want to start this video by saying, please, no matter how tinfoily you think this is, and no matter how tinfoily this gets, give me a chance to explain to you the whole big picture, because this is going to be a long explanation, but it's very, very important to the Warcraft universe because there are things that have been left out from our knowledge. I'm pretty sure of it. Now, I want to let you guys know off the bat, this is speculation. However, I often buy into my speculation a lot because I think you should. You should believe in what you're telling people. And I have never believed so heavily in a theory before. Let me start this out by saying that the Titans are interesting creatures because we have Titans that are arcane. We have Titans that are arcane in life. We have Titans that seem to be arcane in death, Argus. And so people have been wondering, where is the Light Titan? Where is it? Well, we actually used to have two Light Titans. We only have one now because one of them unfortunately has fallen to become the Dark Titan. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying to you. Sargeras and Aggramar were Titans of the Light, and Aggramar still is. But hold on, Pyro, where the hell did that come from? Where did you come up with this? Okay. Let me just throw out there that I own Chronicle. I have read Chronicle. And while everyone just blindly goes with Chronicle, I am going to break the rules of Chronicle right now. But the problem is that it's not so much breaking the rules of Chronicle, it's just adding something that's been missing from Chronicle that they didn't tell us in Chronicle. In Chronicle, it never describes why Sargeras and Aggramar were such good champions for fighting the demons. Well, it's because they wielded powers of the light. They were the Light Titans. So some of Sargeras' most important traits were things like courage, strength, and willpower, all things that are closely associated with the light. The stronger that someone's will is, the stronger someone's hope and belief, and Sargeras' love for life was stronger than anything else, the more devotion and power that you get through the light. Whereas with the void, you just have to have a strong will to control it. You can warp it and twist it into pretty much whatever you want. So where does this all come from? What's the point? So you have the Pantheon. They are creations of arcane, but some have light. Some have life, like Aggramar. Some have death, like Argus. And for those of you that still don't believe that Argus is the Titan of Death, he literally uses abilities like Death Fog. He is called the Unmaker. He is uncreation, aka the opposite of life. He is death. That's exactly what Argus is. So Argus wasn't exactly part of the Titan Pantheon's plan. Whenever they came across Argus, wherever he was, I don't think the Titans wanted him to be a part of it. Hence why Aman'Thul literally says, "Time bends to me, Unmaker," as if he's tried this before. The one force that can bind your relentless fury. They already even know what Argus is. If this is the first time that Argus ever woke up, how come the Titans are interacting with him as though they already know exactly what he is, what he does, and what he's susceptible to? The reason is because the Titans have interacted with Argus before. I'm pretty sure of it. Argus Panoptes, a giant in Greek mythology, was set to guard Io. And Zeus wanted Io, so he sent Hermes to basically lull Argus to sleep and strike him with a rock. But here's the problem. That can't happen in the Warcraft universe because Argus died in the Greek mythos. But the Titans don't kill their own kind, remember? That's the one thing that the Titans completely disallow. That's why they were so pissed off at Sargeras when he cleaved the Old God-infested planet in two after being told the plot of the Void Lords and Old Gods by the Dreadlords. But that's where the problem starts. You have Aman'Thul, Khaz'goroth, Norgannon, and Golganeth, the arcane masters. They are purely arcane. They use temporal, fire, water magic, that type of thing. You have Aggramar, life. You have Argus, death. You have Sargeras and Aggramar, light. That's why they were so powerful at fighting the demons. They wielded the light against them. We already know that the light is an incredibly potent source to fight off demons. We've seen it happen in the game a multitude of times. And it's the reason that the army of the light is so damn fixated on fighting off the demons. But, Pyro, what's the whole point of this? Here's the point. The Titans don't believe in uncreation. They don't believe in death, but why? What happens in death that the Titans deem to be bad? What's the point? The point is what the void is. Because I feel that we've largely misinterpreted what exactly the void is. And Xalatath suggests in the game that even the Titans didn't understand exactly what the void was. I would wager to you, and hear me out on this, I would wager to you that the void is like a black hole. If you're unfamiliar, a black hole is basically a super dense, compact energy. And it has a gravitational pull so strong that it can pull in and eat stars. It can eat light. Black holes can literally eat light. But the light is not completely gone. It compresses it. It stretches it into incredibly weird formats. And when the black hole gets so full of all this energy, like a balloon, it pops. And it shoots out the light. It shoots out an incineratous fire that will burn anything that it comes in contact with. Just like the Fel, just like chaos. So here's what I'm getting at. The void, as we know it, it's been framed obviously to be this malevolent evil force because in the game, you have to have something that you're fighting against, right? You have to have an enemy and you have to have a reason for why you're afraid of that enemy. But why are we afraid of the void? We're afraid of the void because of what the light and the Titans have shown us the void is. But you learn in Chronicle that the Titans are inherently creations of shards of light. But where did those shards of light come from? They came from the clash of light and void. A black hole and a star, essentially. Now, we're speaking figuratively. But this black hole sucks in the light, refracts it, bends it, shapes it, and when it's full, it shoots it back out. The void shoots the light back out. They're inexorably linked, but both are necessary to see destiny because both light and shadow, both light and void, are necessary in the creation of all things. Light and void clash in a chaotic mess. Chaos is shot out into the cosmos, just like it is described in Chronicle. It says that through this chaotic birth of the cosmos, eventually the most powerful energies coalesced into an alternate dimension called the Twisting Nether. Well, we see in the cosmology map some different alignments on this chart. And if you guys haven't seen it, on my Twitter, I basically have a cosmology map that I once believed, was a proper representation of how the cosmology map is actually supposed to work. Now, this is a really rough, terrible looking version. Someone in my Discord made a better one, but here's how I laid it out. You have the Pantheon, which are the arcane masters, Golganath, Khazgaroth, Aman'Thul, and Norgannon. You have Aeonar, who is aligned with life. I had Elune as holy, but the more that I think about Elune, the more that I realize Elune is not holy. She's not. As much as people like to say that, and I'm sorry, I'm going to shoot that idea down, Elune is not using holy light. She's using arcane light, and it's borrowed light at that. Elune doesn't even emit her own light. She needs to eclipse something. She needs to have light reflected off of her. She's borrowing the light from another source. It makes me think more so that Elune is something that was designed by the Titans intentionally. But there's more to this. You have Argus, who is aligned with death. And I have Azeroth, who's aligned with Fel. But wait, Pyro. On the original cosmology map, it has Sargeras and the Burning Legion aligned with Fel, but here's the problem. Sargeras wasn't inherently Fel. He became that after being stricken with such fear that he would cleave Mardum in half. But we know that beings of the light are more susceptible to corruption because where the light lives, the void is attached to it and can make a connection. There's a reason that Illidan says to Turalyon after Zira is killed, your faith blinds you. And it's true. The light only sees its one path. It blinds you from the reality. And fortunately enough, even though Illidan was the chosen one with his golden radiant eyes at birth, he gave it up for true vision from Sargeras. Now, Illidan does his own thing. He has been working with the Legion for a while. There's been times where he's worked against the Legion, and it all ends up with him believing that he is going to jail Sargeras in the ultimatum at the seat of the Pantheon. But here's the problem. Sargeras wasn't the original. He's not the normal. He was created, turned into Fel by his actions. There is another Titan that I believe is created naturally by the Fel, and I'm pretty sure that it's Azeroth. Why do I say this? Sargeras had a plan to purge the universe, but why? We are all told that he wanted to basically make the universe devoid of life, and hopefully the idea is that the cosmos would be rebirthed, but people don't see it that way. People see it as Sargeras just wants to destroy everything. But if that was true, when he was summoned on Azeroth and he had his sword up in his hand, why did he not, with both hands in such great might as he had done before, cleave the planet in two? I hit my hat and I bent it. Why didn't he do it? Because Sargeras isn't trying to destroy the universe. Now, I know a lot of you are going to meme Sargeras did nothing wrong because y'all think it's some kind of joke. But it's true. Sargeras went around burning worlds, yeah, and that's kind of fucked up. But the Titan Pantheon did the same thing. If their worlds ever succumbed to disorder, they would purge it of all life and try to reset everything on the planet. How is that any better than what Sargeras is trying to do? He's just going about it in a different way. But here's the thing. In that moment when Sargeras cleaved that planet in two and the Fel rushed into him and his eyes burst in gouts of emerald fire, it was revealed to him a truth that the light could not see. The light had blinded him. He was blinded by his faith. Sargeras was their greatest champion because he had the greatest affinity to the light of all of them. He wielded the light to such power that he was able to absolutely decimate legions of demons. No pun intended. But what about Azeroth? Why do I think she's a Fel Titan? Well, I'm going to pull up the new cosmology map that Wookiee made for me because he is awesome. And I'm going to explain to you my theory. The reason that Azeroth is Fel in chaos, think about it. We reside on what? The world of Warcraft. Everything is always in chaos on our planet, but that's not it. That's not the whole story. A lot of people have been wondering, what exactly is Sargeras' sword imbued with? Because people have been some people have said Fel, which I think is funny because it doesn't look like Fel at all. I would wager that Sargeras' sword, which I will show you right here, is imbued not with the powers of Fel and chaos, but more so the powers that he took from Argus, the ones that we see in the fight. His sword is imbued with raw death energy. The textures are even identical between the two. Look at them. They are literally identical. This energy that Sargeras possesses is something that he obtained from Argus, because Argus is the Titan of Death. But what does that mean for us? He stabs the sword in the ground, imbued with death, and all of a sudden, for the first time ever, we're seeing Azerite. What is Azerite, though? A lot of people have been saying, oh, maybe it's old god blood. Please get that out of your head right now. That is not what Azerite is. Khadgar says himself, Sargeras did something much more than pierce the very heart of our world. Sargeras got down as far as he needed to get. I think there was more to what Sargeras did in the cinematic. I think there's more reasoning behind it. But ultimately, he is feeding down into the core of the planet pure death. But remember, what happens when you mix death and chaos? The resulting thing that comes from a combination of death and chaos is recreation, being reborn. That's the whole point of re-origination. When you kill everything in a blaze of chaotic glory, it is reborn anew. So what Sargeras is doing is he is mixing death with the core of Azeroth, and at her core, she is Fel. This Fel chaotic energy mixes together to create crystalline, ordered substances, as you can see on the original cosmology map right here, between the forces of death and chaos. Death and disorder. He's creating order. But what does that make Azerite? What is it made from? Well, it's a bright, brilliant gold and blue. Well, if you mix death with fel, you get this arcane. But remember, the consumption from chaos, this death and chaos, also creates light. And that is why Azurite is so powerful. Azurite is a mixture of arcane and light, caused by the reaction between death and chaos of Sargeras' sword. In Sargeras' journeys with Aggramar fighting the demons across the cosmos, it was fortunate that he was able to study the twisting nether to an incomprehensible level. Sargeras knows something that none of the other titans know. That's why Sargeras will inevitably get a redemption story, and Sargeras will come back the same way that Illidan did. And very likely the same way that we will probably see Sylvanas get a redemption story, because of everything that's happened to her. Blizzard loves a good redemption story. So here's what I'm getting at. The Titans are beings of light blinded by their faith to the light. Sargeras, the holiest, most benevolent, and noble Titan of them all, sacrificed everything for vision. Once he saw what the chaos did, he understood the way that the universe worked, but he was still afraid. He knows how the reactions work, but because of what the Dreadlords told him, he let his fear get the better of him. And thus why he made so many mistakes. Thus why he struck down the Pantheon in the manner that he did. They could never understand what Sargeras had seen because they only see what they want to see. They only see what the light grants to them. But Sargeras was broken of that curse. He was allowed true vision. Ouroboros, the concept similar to the law of conservation of energy. Energy is never truly gone. The light and the void are two different energies that are inexorably bound together and are required for the chaotic birth of everything. That's why when the shadow shows you whispers and visions, they're only half true, as we learned from Locust Walker in 1000 Years War. The shadow is not wholly responsible for destiny, and so it cannot show you every part of it. It's the same concept for the light. The light needs the shadow to see the truth. And when Illyria is shrouded in the energies of the void with Locust Walker, in 1000 Years War, she reaches out for the light and it slams into her, causing intense pain. But in that moment, when the connection between the light and the shadow became one, she saw truth. She saw what even the shadow could not, because the shadow was just as blind as the light. You need both to intermingle to see destiny. That is why the fight between light and shadow has gone on for so long, because you can't mix them. But they're not meant to be mixed. They're meant to have a relationship with one another that breeds creation. Ouroboros, the concept that the snake goes in a circle, right? Eating its own tail. It's a serpent in the sky which is ever consuming. In order to live, it continues to eat its own tail, and by eating its own tail, it grows and continues to exist. It's an idea of the principle of the existence of the cosmos that is existent in a lot of different real life cultures. It is something that has been considered for the origin and creation of the cosmos. Ouroboros is the consistent and infinite transfer of energy, and it must exist, otherwise the universe dies. Not just the void, not just us, not just the light, everything would cease to exist completely if the cycle is stopped. So what is the void doing? The void eats light. The void consumes the light, which is why you have a natural degradation from Naru to Void God. The light will naturally, through chaotic entropy, through death, decay into void, and the void will consume it. But the light, remember, the void is like a black hole, and the light is never truly gone, which is why Velen could sacrifice himself with death to bring the light back from the void. The void and the light existed. I don't know how they came to be initially. That's still a mystery. The void consumes the light. Once it's finally so expansive that it's consumed everything, it bursts. And the birth of the cosmos happens in that moment. chaotic energies and light are shot across the universe, creating planets. And then the shards of the light slam into the planets. But in a black hole, the energy gets shot out both directions, not just off of one plane of the black hole. It comes out both sides, 2 different dimensions, the twisting nether and the great dark beyond. So this chaotic birth of the cosmos led to the creation of these titans, these arcane beings, but not all of them are just arcane. Some of them, like I said, have natural affinities. It lends more to the idea that Azeroth is a titan of chaos. She is the most powerful of all the titans. She has war going on literally all the time. This is where all of the primordial forces of the cosmos are clashing together. Life, death, light, shadow, arcane, and fel. Everything clashes at chaos because of the explosion between light and shadow, chaos is responsible for the creation and destruction of all things in the universe. It's the whole concept behind the Big Bang. So, it sucks in the light, it sucks in this energy, it shoots it out as chaos, and the roiling fires eventually, through entropy, calm back down into arcane, and they are infused with light. These beings create, they forge, they do incredible things, but inevitably, they must be destroyed, because that is the natural way of the cosmos. Eventually, when the light fades from certain areas with the natural entropic decay of light, void fills it, and it consumes it. It consumes everything until it gets too full again, and then the void will explode in the rebirth of the cosmos. It's just a cycle, but you have to fit in life and death to it. So, it is by this death and chaos that you can create this order that naturally will become entropic and descend back into chaos. What Sargeras is doing with death and fel, he's creating life and arcane, the same way that that black hole in its chaotic burst of energy shoots out light and births the entirety of the cosmos. So it begs the question, what happens when Azeroth wakes up? Well, we don't know. There's no way to know, because Argus's rebirth, I don't think, was natural. I think when the Titans, like I said, came across Argus, they decided to imprison him because he wasn't a part of their plan. He's Unmaker. The Titans don't want the Void to succeed because it means the Titans die. It's the only thing in the cosmos that will destroy everything, but it's necessary for the natural flow of the cosmos. And this is going to sound insane, but I don't think the other Titans wanted Azeroth to wake up. If she's chaos, don't let her wake up. Craft a dream. Keep her asleep forever. Imprison the old gods if you have to, but no matter what you do, don't wake up chaos, because chaos will destroy everything. Chaos will lead to the inevitable destruction and consumption of the entire universe. I think that's why the Titans, even though she was so powerful, they left. They set up all of these systems and booked. They got out of there. They went and did their own thing. Why? They crafted a dream because she's not supposed to ever wake up. If we prevent the void from consuming everything, we prevent the natural flow of Ouroboros, the serpent in the sky, the theoretical flow of the cosmos that consumes its own tail to keep living. If we get rid of the consumption part, the void, we get rid of the cycle of the cosmos. In the cosmos, time itself, the existence of everything in the universe, would cease to exist. I think that's why Blizzard is starting to frame this idea of light versus void. And I don't think we're supposed to have an understanding of the interaction between the two yet. But I am, and believe me if you want to, don't believe me if you don't want to, I can't force you to believe anything. But I am positive that Azeroth is a Titan of Chaos at the core. I'm just sure of it. It makes me wonder though, where do the old gods fit in? Well, the old gods don't really represent void. It says that they're manifestations of the void, but that's a pretty general term. And the first time that the Titans ever even came across the old gods, They were living on a planet with Nathrazim. The Nathrazim are the ones that told Sargeras what the Void's plans were, about how it would awaken a dark titan that would have the power to destroy all of creation. But the Nathrazim were lying. How do I know that? Because Sargeras turned into exactly what they said they were going to awaken. Sargeras became the Dark Titan, one that would have the power to end all of creation, and he did. He went and struck down all of the other members of the Pantheon. He killed them all, except Argus, which he utilized to empower his sword. So I guess the whole grand scheme of what I'm getting at is that in the game universe, because we need to have a moral standing, we need to have something that we are working towards and fighting against, it has been framed to seem that the light is the good and the void is the bad. But the old gods tell us themselves, as beings of death, they're feeding the void with this death and chaos. They're feeding the void for rebirth. They tell us, welcome death, stop fighting it. Why do you fight it? Because they understand that it is necessary in the natural way of the cosmos. So the number one argument that I'm probably going to get is, well, that'd be fucking stupid, because then what's the point of the game? Well, this game is based off of a lot of mythos, Greek, Roman mythology, like Mesopotamian things. We're talking biblical things. H.P. Lovecraft. The center of Azeroth is not an old god. That would be stupid. That would suck. Azeroth is something so much more, and I think that Azeroth is the center of the universe. The point at which light and shadow first clashed and birthed chaos. And that's what Azeroth is. Chaos. So here is how the Titans would be aligned. You would have the Arcane, Golganeth, Aman'Thul, Khaz'garath, Norgannon. Life, Aeonar. Death, Argus. Holy, Light, Sargeras, and Aggramar, the two greatest champions of the Pantheon. And that leaves one final question. Where's the Void Titan? Well, it doesn't exist. The Void Titan is not a thing, because the Void only consumes until the point where it's so gorged that it explodes. So, when you boil this down, you break it down, and you really look at it pragmatically, take your bias away from what you think is good and evil. Get that out of your head, because it doesn't exist. In the wise words of Palpatine, there is only power. Only power. Taliesin and Nevatel made a great point. We should all be disc priests between light and void. So, that's the theory. Sargeras and Aggramar were the champions of the light. They were chosen. They had the highest, strongest natural affinity to it. And I think Aman'Thul and the other Titans have been doing everything they possibly can to prevent the inevitable consumption of the universe by the void, because they don't want to die. They are afraid because they don't understand their creator. The Titans don't understand that they're not just a product of light and order. They are a product of a chaotic, void-induced explosion that led to the creation of the whole entire universe. And I know that there's going to be people that watch this and unfortunately don't understand what I'm getting at. And I wish that I could explain it in a way that better illustrates my point. But Sargeras was trying to help us. Sargeras, whether it seemed cruel and horrific to you or not, Varrock Sourfang says himself, nothing good ever came from Silithus. So for Sargeras, fuck it. Stab Silithus. Hit that. And it went so far down into Azeroth that it mixed with the Fel, deep, deep, deep under the crust. And from that, light and arcane were born. Unfortunately, we once again, in our blindness, are going to use this substance to fight one another. We're going to use it to cause destruction. We're going to use it to cause death. And even though Sargeras was afraid and had good intentions in what he was doing, Perhaps he went about it in horrible ways at times, but he was doing what was necessary to survive. He didn't want the void to consume everything, and so in his fear, he is trying to turn everything into an orderly. He's trying to rebirth in himself. But the Titans, like Xalatath said, the Titans didn't understand the void. And I hate to say it, but Battle for Azeroth might be the first time that we really lose. Because when you think about it, I hate to be cynical, but it's inevitable. Someone pointed out to me, well, Blizzard's never made us lose before. You're right. They haven't. Don't you think it's about time we lost a fight? Maybe we lose everything. Maybe the shadow comes and it eats everything. Maybe it doesn't. But we're fighting for Azeroth, not Battle of Azeroth. We are fighting for the very existence of our own planet. And with enough death and chaos, the void will consume and inevitably rebirth the cosmos in a fiery, roiling explosion of chaos and light. So I'm going to end it with that, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it all the way to the end, I love and appreciate you very much. You guys are the real tinfoil kings, for real. The fact that you stayed all the way to the end of this video to listen to me rant about that is amazing, and I hope that you guys, enjoyed. Like I said, I know I'm not going to convince everyone, and that's okay, because that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to show you what I found. I'm here to show you why it makes sense. And I'm here to get your opinion. I want to know what you think. So leave a comment in the comment section down below, letting me know what you think about this theory, what you think about Azeroth being the Titan of Chaos, Sargeras being a Titan of Holy Light, as well as Aggramar. And let me know, you guys. I'd love to know what you guys think. I got a Twitch, Patreon, and Twitter. You can check all those out, links down in the description. And I got a Discord where you can come and be a part of this speculation as well. So until next time, you guys, I love and appreciate you very much. Stay awesome, and I will see you guys later. Take care. Peace.